Fighting Usyk again. That's a tough fight. That Usyk guy is talented. He's so talented. He's so small for a heavyweight too. He's nonstop movement and his footwork and everything. It's so different than anybody else. Joshua didn't know what to do with him. He's like, where is this guy going to be when I'm throwing punches? He's a heavyweight. And the heavyweights were never really that good in terms of that kind of technique. It's like you need it at like middleweight and light heavyweight because everyone's super talented and technical. Lomachenko and Usyk were trained by the same guy. They were both trained by Lomachenko's father. So they both have extreme technique.
But he wants to stay on. And if you want to stay on, then I want to see it be the next man up. That's what I want. If you are the unified champion, I don't want it to be a case of giving belts away. Like, okay, Wardy, you can take that. Cabello, you can hang on to my WBC. Who wants the IBF? I want it to be next man up. Next man up is Cabello or Wardley. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand if he were fighting Deontay Wilder and there were no challenges. Like, okay, he's cleaned out the division. I mean, there's no one really kind of, do what you want to do. But there are challenges. Again, I just mentioned two, right? And those are two big ones. So it is disappointing.
What is this bronze bomber mentality? Is it a real thing? And if it is, does he need to get it back? Is he capable of getting it back at this stage in his career after two, performances against Zhilei Zhang, against Joseph Parker that were just not reflective of what we recognise to be Deontay Wilder? Can he do that? And if he does he have any chance against Oleksandr Usyk?
He's got every chance against Oleksandr Usyk. He could be.
Pack it in, Joe.
No. But listen, because he's such a dangerous puncher. I'm not saying it. Listen, if I was a gambling man, I wouldn't say he would beat Usyk, and I don't think he would beat Usyk. I don't think he will beat Usyk. But him out of all the other heavyweights, because he's such a dangerous puncher, this guy sounds to be rejuvenated in some ways. When I spoke to him I started a YouTube channel, and he gave me a lot of time, and he said to me he had a lot of...
Don't start promoting other stuff on YouTube.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that. I just thought I'd throw it in.
All
no,
right.
but he said that he had a lot of personal problems, as Spenny already alluded to. And now he's dealt with these personal problems and managed to get a hold of everything. And he's got a tick box, he's put everything in its box and everything in its place. He's got a clear head now. So he might go into this fight with Usyk, full of vigor and determination.
Oleksandr Usyk is ready for the tough fight. He is calm and focused, ready to move towards Deontay Wilder with confidence in his skills. It's not about size and fear. It's all about timing, movement, and controlling the pace. Usyk understands that one wrong move could be the end of it all.
Could you tell them that he had that kind of power that would translate in the pros? Wilder.
Wilder's a beast power, bro.
In the amateurs, yeah?
No, but Wilder's one of the hardest hitting heavyweights I've ever seen.
What does he need to do to beat Usyk?
Hit him hard. Hit him, bro. That's it. Knock him out.
And as soon as Wilder heard the name Usyk linked with him, he had already made up his mind. When he talked about it, he considered it an actual opportunity, not something he had to give some time to think about and weigh his alternatives. He did not talk about negotiations, terms, and schedules.
Usyk has announced he wants to fight you, Deontay Wilder, the bronze bomber, one of the greatest of this generation in the heavyweight division. Do you want to fight Usyk? Is that the fight that's in negotiation?
Man, when he said that, in my mind, I already said I accept, but I haven't publicly said it. So I'm gonna look right here in this camera and say, Usyk, I appreciate the opportunity, and I accept.
But the boxing world is not happy with this fight. Adi Oladipo and Gareth A. Davis both agreed on the same topic regarding Usyk versus Wilder. They both thought that this fight appears to be dangerous on paper, but seems very one-sided. Wilder still has the threat of a single punch, but his recent defeats are important. They pointed out how these knockouts impact the faith people have in Wilder's ability to deal with the pressure, particularly from someone who never gives you a break like Usyk.
Just like that. So I think that's why he puts himself, in the perfect position for if Usyk Wilder collapses, and I'm hearing that fight has a bit of a problem, then I think Cabello puts himself in great position for it.
Well, if the WBC allow that fight to go on, I think at the moment, of all the heavyweights you mentioned there, Deontay's at 13 with the WBC right now, so it is viable for Oleksandr Usyk to have a voluntary against him. I think behind the scenes, I don't think Mauricio Suleiman has any issue with that.
I'm hearing no one wants it financially. That's the risk. No one wants to put up the money for it. And it can't, like, obviously Usyk wants to go and do it in America, which basically means PBC, I guess, or one of those rogue promotions, and unless they've got 20-30 million to spare. It's a difficult fight to sell.
What was interesting was how confident Gareth was about Usyk if the fight goes through. He didn't speak as if it were a close and dangerous fight. He spoke about how Usyk's movement, speed, and control would break down Wilder more cleanly and smartly, as some people have done recently. The early punch is true, but if Usyk can get past that early stage, it's expected that Wilder would feel uncomfortable soon, rather than Usyk having the better end of the stick.
I get that, and I get the fact that Usyk has been paid an enormous amount of money, and I see he stepped away from Riyadh season. Maybe he's trying to leverage with them. Like you say, if the fundamentals of the promotion don't work, we aren't going to get it. It doesn't surprise me that Lawrence Okoli was there. He's the #1 challenger to Kabayel's interim title, and Usyk holding the title. And Tony Yoka's not in there at those rankings at the moment. Filip Hrgovic is at 5. So, you know, do we want to see Kabayel and Okoli? I think Kabayel wins that, but Okoli's a problem for everyone as well, in the way that he fights. And again, he's the guy with 2 bricks in his hand. That's all he is, and that's what he is. So it's a fascinating time.
Ade focused on the money aspect and why it's more important than people realize. The feeling is that this fight is not stuck for boxing-related issues, but for business-related concerns. Usyk wants a big stage and a big payday, and the promoters are concerned because Wilder looked very flat and hurt in his last outings. This makes it difficult to invest tens of millions of dollars. It's not about rankings for him, but about whether anyone still thinks Wilder offers a safe and sound investment.
I think that's maybe the roadblock it's having at the moment. And if you're Turkey, the last couple of Wilder performances, you got knocked out in one and looked really bad in the other. Yeah. I mean, are you going to want to put up the money for it? So I think that's the issue with that fight now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember describing the Zhile Zhang knockout of Deontay Wilder like him being run over by a herd of wildebeest, because that's what it felt like at the time. Yeah, I just remember Zhang charging across the ring like a he looked like a herd of wildebeest while he was doing it, you know. And he like it was like a cartoon. He flattened Deontay Wilder, didn't he? And they literally had to scrape him.
For D, this is not about hating the fight. It is about timing and fairness. He feels Usyk should be facing the next man in line, not choosing a name fight. From his point of view, fighters like Kabayel or Wardley have earned that shot by staying active and winning the right fights. Giving Wilder this opportunity feels like skipping the queue.
But he wants to stay on, and if you want to stay on, then I want to see it be the next man up. That's what I want. If you are the unified champion, I don't want it to be a case of giving belts away. Like, okay, Wardy, you can take that. Kabayel, you can hang on to my WBC. Who wants the IBF? I want it to be next man up. Next man up is Kabayel or Wardley. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand if he were fighting Deontay Wilder and there were no challenges. Like, okay, he's cleaned out the division. I mean, there's no one really kind of, do what you want to do. But there are challenges. Again, I just mentioned 2, right? And those are 2 big ones. So it is disappointing.
AD also broke down why the Wilder side of this matchup feels flat. To him, this is Wilder by reputation, not by recent performances. He feels Wilder has not looked like the same dangerous force for years, which makes the fight feel one-sided on paper. That is where the frustration comes from, because Usyk is still operating at a very high level.
And it's disappointing that he's fighting Wilder because, again, let's be very frank and honest about this. That's only Wilder by name. That's not Deontay Wilder in terms of ability anymore. Deontay Wilder just not that guy, hasn't been that guy for 3 or 4 years, so it's disappointing.
Sean Ziddle explained that it makes sense for Usyk to call out Wilder in terms of respect and legacy, even if Wilder is not the same fighter he once was. Wilder is no longer at the peak of his powers, is not as explosive or quick, and has taken a lot of damage over the years. However, as Ziddle pointed out, Wilder got a title shot towards the end of his career because of what he brought to the division.
Oleksandr Usyk, of course, the pound-for-pound great and undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Forget whether he has 3 or 4 belts right now. He's the undisputed heavyweight champion. Recently made some headlines about fighting Deontay Wilder, actually calling him out as the next guy he wants to fight. Me and you covered Deontay's last fight afterwards against Tyrell Herndon, right? And we both were happy to see Deontay back in the ring, getting a victory. But we said at best, he needs a lengthy rebuild against a succession of opponents to even consider fighting at the championship level. Or another scenario, he should just retire, because Deontay is clearly not the explosive, snappy, fearsome fighter that he was at his apex years ago. So this comes as a bit of a surprise. All I'm going to say is, you know, no fighter is above the critique, and there's a lot going on right now.
Radio Raheem added that this fight could give Wilder one more chance to show what he's still capable of. Even if he's not at his best, Wilder can still land that one big right hand, which makes the fight interesting. Usyk gets the challenge, Wilder gets a payday, and the fans get a big matchup. Raheem emphasized that it's less about matching top competition right now and more about honoring what Wilder did for boxing and letting him have one last opportunity.
One right hand, one night.
Bomb squad. One night, one right hand. Get your confidence back. Get in there and do what you do best the way that you do it and see if it's enough. Because the one thing that we don't necessarily know about Usyk is if he could take a classic peak Wilder right hand. Well, everything else from Wilder may have been faded or shot. The power is the last to go.
The last thing to go.
Confidence, and he can land it. You might see just one classic Deontay Wilder right hand. And are any of us prepared to say that if that lands clean on Usyk, it doesn't ghost him? I'm not prepared to say that. I'm not sure Usyk can take that peak Wilder right hand. It's going to be difficult to land. I know all the stuff, which is why, you know, it's very difficult to bet on Wilder in this fight. But I love him getting the opportunity. It's a voluntary defense. I'm here for it. And I don't even blame Usyk for doing it. Everybody who's in line, they just got to wait one more. They got to wait one more.
Simon Jordan made it clear that when it comes to Usyk, the conversation should be about who actually deserves the shot, not who still has a big name. The way he framed it, Usyk should not have the freedom to just pick a fight for spectacle. From his point of view, Usyk holds the belt, and that comes with responsibility. If Usyk is serious about doing things the right way, then fighting someone like Agit Kabayel makes more sense than chasing a Wilder fight based on old reputation.
Should be getting his opportunity to fight Oleksandr Usyk, because Usyk is a WBC belt holder. He shouldn't have the luxury of just swanning off and fighting Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder being given an opportunity that he isn't entitled to anymore, because he's not current in terms of his performances.
Right.
Whereas Agit Kabayel is the WBC interim champion. He should be getting his opportunity in the same way that Usyk talked about the opportunities that were given to him when Anthony Joshua fought him back in the day.
I think
Frank Warren made it clear that when Usyk is mentioned, the decision does not rest with promoters or hype, it rests with Usyk himself. The way Frank explained it, any fight involving Usyk depends on what Usyk wants next. He pointed out how strong Kabayel's pull is in Germany and said if Usyk agrees, that fight sells itself instantly because the crowd and momentum are already there. Warren also tied Usyk's name to legacy, not shortcuts. He spoke about Usyk clearing the division properly and how fighting Agit Kabayel would actually mean something in the current heavyweight picture.
We'd love to make it, and we've had discussions, and we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, it's all going to be down to Usyk, and there are a lot of Ukrainians in Germany, so it'd be a massive sellout. I mean, we sold that show out. Ajik sold that show out in, I think it was less than a day. And the atmosphere was unbelievable. My son Georgie was there. I couldn't go. I wasn't there because I'm still struggling with this bloody virus I've got. But my son George said it's the best atmosphere he's ever experienced at an event, as did a lot of people, experienced people who were out there, TV people from Queensbury. It was just an amazing atmosphere, and we know it'll go from strength to strength. But whatever happens, Ajit will fight again, probably in May or June. It'll be in a soccer stadium there. And I hope in the opposite corner will be Mr. Usyk.
Where Adam Catterall got critical was around the rules and the WBC. He pushed the point that if Usyk chooses Wilder, the belt should not be held hostage. He made it clear that fighters who actually earned a shot are waiting their turn. For him, the issue was not Usyk fighting Wilder, it was the sport bending rules to allow it, while others are left waiting. That part bothered him more than the matchup itself. Whereas Pat Brown was clearly surprised Usyk even mentioned Wilder, especially with how recent performances have gone. Still, he didn't dismiss Wilder as harmless. He pointed out that Wilder's flaws are obvious, but his power keeps him dangerous no matter who he fights. Brown also suggested that Usyk might be chasing names from his generation rather than the toughest challenge available right now, which explains why Wilder still appeals to him. So breaking it all down, the upcoming heavyweight fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Deontay Wilder is looking to be one of the most highly anticipated heavyweight bouts in a long time. Usyk is the undisputed champion, focused, accurate, and determined to cement his legacy and bring an end to the old guard of heavyweight boxers. Wilder is a knockout specialist and a heavyweight legend. He may not be at the top of his game, but he still can throw one big right hand that will turn the whole thing around. This is also a matter of respect and opportunity. Wilder may not be the same man he was before, but he has earned a last shot at glory, and Usyk is giving him that opportunity while also protecting his own legacy. But now it's your turn. Who do you think will win? The skill of Usyk or the power of Wilder? Let us know in the comments.